Many, many people have been praying and standing for extended periods of time, for lengthy seasons, and have not seen the breakthrough and the change that they want to see. And so the tendency is to blame God, blame the universe, infinite intelligence, however you view things. But there is a clear message coming through right now of God wanting us to do something very important for Him. This is what I hear. Honor me by honoring yourself. Greetings, everyone. Thomas Shirley here. This is the weekly prophecy for the week of November 10th, 2024. And I hope that this is a blessing to you today. This tendency that we have to not see the change taking place in our lives that we're asking for, that we're standing for, that we have been exercising our faith in to manifest and to see good things come into our lives. God says you're looking for the solution in the wrong place. We have this mindset that there is some greater power outside of us that is supposed to come and do for us the things that we are requesting. But that is absolutely not the way that the divine life works. Infinite intelligence seeks to manifest itself through us by causing us to become aligned with it. This personal, interactive, corporate consciousness that many of us call God is craving to see us come into a place of recognition and acknowledgement that the issue is with us. Cut it out is something that I'm hearing clearly. Stop with the finger pointing. Stop with the complaining. Stop with this need that we have to look back and see how things have not been right and to try to find some source outside of ourselves that is responsible, but bring it back home to you. I hear a lot of people in the manifestation industry, I guess, for lack of a better term, talk a lot about doing the work, put in the work, put in the time, put in the effort. Listen, our salvation, redemption, it does not come to us by the works that we perform. It comes to us by the act of faith. And someone might say, as I did for many years, but I've been exercising faith. Your faith is shit if you're not manifesting things. Your faith is excrement. It doesn't have any power to it because it's not sourced out of you being aligned with the truth of who you are, who you actually are, that unique signature expression of the corporate consciousness manifesting at conception in your mother's womb, created something that it never has been before, filled with the limitless possibility of this great cloud of witnesses that permeates all that we are, the infinite reality of the realm that goes smaller and smaller into greater and greater within us. We expand eternally, and we come from a realm that we can't even understand yet. Modern science is just barely beginning to scratch the surface, and our ability to use words often is very, very limited and hindered when it comes to allowing ourselves to communicate clearly with ourselves or with others about what's going on. We're in a season right now of rest. It's a natural season in nature where the trees begin to die down. Animals go into hibernation after they've been working to store up food for the winter. And things kind of slow down. The vegetation dies off for a period and goes into a sleep mode. And in this season, God is likewise calling many, many people into an experience with Himself where we can experience His goodness by us becoming who we are, because what we were created to be, the unique reality that we are, is the greatest glory that God has ever put on this earth. What you are right now, sitting where you are, doing what you're doing, you are the expression, you are the Word of God, and you're perfectly crafted. Now, the stuff that's in your life that you don't like, that shouldn't be there, you think, that shouldn't be a part of your experience, the things that cause you not to experience who you truly are, to not be able to pray from your spirit, to not be able to pray from your actual self, to not be able to look at the circumstances around you through the lens of infinite intelligence. That stuff that is in us, it is there because we are not aligned. Cut it out, says God. Cut out your need to find some other source and instead do the work of coming into a place of rest. There's a lot of talk about surrender. You need to surrender. You need to yield yourself. You need to give up your rights, and you need to just let God do what God wants to do. But the surrender that we often talk about is not the type of surrender that brings us to a place where we are aligned with the truth. Many of us need to stop standing in faith for the manifestation and instead need to lay ourselves down and prostrate and say, here I am. I want to be completely aligned with you. I no longer put the responsibility on you. I now take the responsibility and I declare that I will be made whole so that I can bring forth that which I have desired to bring forth. You are not waiting for someone outside of you. Some people, and like myself, for years and years and years, been trying to find a way, but that time of striving and struggling through to bend somebody's arm in the spirit realm to give us what we want to have it's passing away. There's a new heaven and a new earth coming forth in our lives. There's an opportunity to experience the truth of who we are without all the programming that gets just dumped on us from birth. I mean, God, we got the genetic stuff that comes down from the generations, and then we're born into a world system that's like, what the what? And we don't know what's going on. It's a time to get rid of these mindsets that justify how we have been instead of coming to a place of acknowledging the things that we are shown. You know, when you get quiet, when you really learn how to start shutting off that loop of unconscious thought that's going on inside of you, and we really learn how to come into that place where we just, you know what, I'm done. I don't have any more to give. I just want to yield. I want to rest. I give up. It's me. It's not my fault, but it's my responsibility. I'm accountable for what is happening in my life. I'm accountable for the person that I've been. And someone will say, well, what about people that had maybe severe childhood trauma, maybe have gone through some difficult things that kind of rewired their minds and maybe even caused actual brain damage or severe physical issues that keep us trapped in that loop? Listen, it's not a matter of you saying it's my fault. It's a matter of us saying, hey, this is for me. This is in me. And even if it, so you say, well, how's it in me? I didn't do it. Okay. But have you forgiven? You say, well, of course I've forgiven. That's what I'm supposed to do. Okay. Then let me ask you something. When you think about that person or that circumstance, what type of emotions do you have? Hmm? Look, we got to cut it out. We got to stop. We have to bring ourselves into a place in our lives now where we begin to see things from the perspective of who we truly are, because who we truly are isn't bogged down with the emotional baggage. Doesn't have a awful parents or a terrible childhood or a rotten spouse or bad kids or awful employer. That our actual self isn't attached to any of that. Our actual self, man, stands forth in the glory of God, just fully manifested, aware of everything that we're experiencing, but from a perspective that says, hey, that isn't supposed to be there. As soon as you're ready to get over here and let me be the one, as soon as you come back into the source, coming back into God, it is a crucial time for us in this season of rest that we're in. It's time for us to cease from our labors. It's time for us to put down our defiance. It's time for us to let go of our arrogance. It's time to see the ego for what it is, because most of our prayers have been ego, iniquity, pride, manipulation, trying to find some way to make something else outside of me do what I want done, instead of being the person that says, you know what, I give up. I stop. I stop. And you have your way. You have your way in me. And every time you bring something up, and every time you work in me, and every time you cause me to take a turn that seems to come into a dead end, how it calls me, enable me, give me strength, give me grace just to have eyes to see the doors that are all around me there, to be who and what I am, to live the life that I'm supposed to live. There's no greater joy for a parent than that parent sees their children living a prosperous life, living a life on purpose, living a life successfully, right? I have grown kids. My kids are doing amazing things in their lives right now. I'm just absolutely thrilled at who and what they're becoming. And I can't take a lot of credit for it, but I take some, because I was able to speak into their lives along the way and help them see and perceive from different perspectives. And now they've been able to learn how to make their own decisions, how to make their own connections with the divine. Now I know it's a time, typically prophecy is all about, pixie dust and poofle balls and whatever. I don't know. It's a lot of fluff. Well, the breakthrough's coming. The breakthrough's coming. You're the breakthrough. I'm the breakthrough. Whatever God is speaking to you, whatever God is showing you in your life, you're going to have to humble yourself. You're going to have to yield. You're going to have to abase yourself in that and take responsibility and acknowledgement for what it is. You know, if you've ever trained a puppy, trying to house train a puppy and they like to poop and, what do you, I mean, maybe you don't. And I don't have a puppy, so no need to call PETA on me. But like, what do? You get a wadded up piece of newspaper or something that's not going to hurt them, but it's going to get the message through, and you grab them by the scruff of the neck and you put their nose down. No, 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 right? God is doing the same thing with us, many of you, and with myself right now, putting our nose down in it, not because he's punishing us, not because he's angry or bent out of shape or frustrated or has a vendetta about it. No, 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 no. He wants us to see, hey, look at the mess you made. Look at the mess that you have been an accomplice in, even though perhaps you are not the assailant in the situation. Maybe you're not the one that came and brought the drama. But here it is, it's active in your vibration. It's a frequency that's always exuding from you. That's why it continues to be strife and conflict in your life. That's why health and finances struggle so much. Listen, there's a process, man. It takes time to train a puppy. It takes time to train a child. And it takes time to train us when many of us spent the majority of our lives being trained improperly by religious leaders that have their own agenda. Listen, spirituality has nothing to do with a series of Bible verses or attending a social club that calls itself a church. It has nothing to do with anything outside of who you are. Genuine spirituality is when you finally come to a place where the facade that you have been wearing all these years is exposed for what it is and falls away. You have a wonderful opportunity in this season in rest to become aware of what it is that needs to be addressed within you. And here's the amazing thing about this. Although this process often takes time for us because there's so much bad programming in us, the amazing thing is that even though there's time present, the process is very, very easy when we approach it from a position of, it's me, and I need me to be fixed. And so you show me the areas in my life that need to be fixed. And through confession, just simply acknowledging, like, yeah, that's in me. I don't want that there. You pointed that out to me. And by the way, when there's guilt present with this, the guilt doesn't come from love. It doesn't come from infinite intelligence at all. Guilt has nothing to do with the kingdom of heaven, nothing. Okay. So if there's guilt present there, just do the best that you can to let that part of it go and instead come back to the actual issue and acknowledge that. Acknowledge that and watch it remove itself from your life, because now you have altered your frequency, even though it be just a tiny little bit. Remember the old dials on the old radio tuners? I haven't seen one in years, but you had to, some of those stations where you just had to kind of dial that thing in just right to get that frequency. That's where we are in our lives right now. Many, many of us, I mean, the number is staggering that I'm seeing right now. It's atrocious that we've been led the ways that we've been led and believe what we believe to get us to the place that we're at. But what a beautiful, glorious opportunity and situation we find ourselves in, when all we're being asked to do is just rest. Stop striving, stop fighting, stop laboring so hard to accomplish and to twist and manipulate. Just rest. Here I am. Just like a patient getting surgery, right? You don't sit there while the doctor's coming in and scalp them. Like, what are you doing? What's happening? This isn't my fault. We need to surrender ourselves and allow the genuine, pure, unadulterated, absolutely glorious love of God that is within us to efface this marred image of humanity that everyone has allowed themselves to become to one degree or another. Oh, the actual awareness of the actual self, the fullness of the corporate consciousness, the love of God, the Spirit of Christ manifesting in signs and wonders. That's where we are right now. So for this week, November 10, I hope that you will take the time to just rest. And the objections that come up and all the things that you feel like you need to deal with, just let it come and acknowledge it and let it go. It is in letting go that we become who we truly are, because our actual self isn't trying to become anything. Our actual self is I am. There's a link in the description below, a request form for your own personal prophecy. If you'd be interested in receiving one of those from me, please fill out that form and get that to me. I'll get a recording back to you as quickly as I can after prayerfully meditating and considering what it is that I'm being told for you. I know that it will be a blessing to you. I hope to see that soon. Until next time, be blessed, my friends.